Hello YouTube friends, have you ever wondered why there are laws that make us laugh? Today I bring you one of Arizona's most peculiar laws, then surely with my mouth open. Imagine this, a Nissan in Arizona, is a hot day like any other. And suddenly they find out that there is a law that specifically prohibits a donkey sleeping in a bathtub. They heard it well. In Arizona it is illegal for a donkey to take a nap in your tub. Out of nowhere. Like every curious story, it has an origin that dates back to 1924 in a town in Arizona. It all started when a local farmer had a donkey that developed a peculiar habit. He loved to sleep in an old bathtub that his owner had left in the courtyard. One day, an unusually strong storm hit the region. The rains were so intense that they caused a flood. The bathtub, with the donkey asleep inside, began to float and was dragged by the current. The residents of the town had to organize a rescue elaborated to save the donkey, which ended several kilometers down. This incident caused so much stir that local authorities decided to create this law. To prevent similar situations exaggerated, perhaps many of the laws seem absurd. The fascinating thing about this story reflects the way in which communities react to events. Unusual, instead of simply suggesting that people use common sense, decided to create It is a specific law. It is a perfect example of how some regulations arise from very particular experiences. But beyond how funny it may seem, it makes us reflect on how legislation evolves over time, while in 1924 it could have made sense to that specific community. Today seems completely out of place. Arizona is not the only state with peculiar laws. Throughout the United States, and in fact there are regulations that make us ask ourselves what they were thinking. These laws are testimony of past times, different social contexts, sometimes so specific situations that it is difficult to imagine that they were once necessary. The interesting thing is that many of these ancient laws remain technically in force, although they rarely apply. They are like small capsules of time that allow us to take a look at the mentality and concerns of past generations. It also makes us think of how societies try to regulate human behavior. Sometimes, instead of trusting common sense, we choose to create specific rules for situations that will probably never be repeated. This law of donkey in the bathtub reminds us of the importance of reviewing and updating our legal codes. While some old laws cause us grace, maintaining law books full of obsolete regulations can create confusion and make it more difficult to apply the laws that really matter. And what does this tell us about our current society? How many of the laws we create today will seem equally absurd within 100 years? It is an interesting question to reflect. The truth is that each law, however strange, it looks like a story behind. In the case of our friend the donkey in the bathtub was a response to a specific incident that at the time caused sufficient concern to merit an official regulation. This story also shows us how communities react before unusual events. Sometimes, instead of seeing these incidents as unique anomalies, we tend to create their repetition, although the probability that they will happen again is fascinating. To think about the legislative process that led to the creation of this law, there was some debate. Did anyone oppose that it was unnecessary? How many other incidents with donkeys in bathtubs were before it was decided that it was necessary to regulate it? In the end, this peculiar law of reason reminds us that history is full of curiosities, and that sometimes reality exceeds fiction. It shows us that the laws, although they seek to maintain order and security, can also be a reflection of our fears, concerns, and sometimes of truly unique situations. If you like this story about one of the most curious laws in the United States, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Do you know other laws as strangers? Tell me in the comments. And remember, if they have a donkey, better buy a bed than let him sleep in the bathtub, at least if they are in Arizona. See you in the next video.